Hi, I'm Heather Soroka, and I'm going to be reading Bread and Jam for Francis by Russell Hoban, pictures by Lillian Hoban. This is an old book, and it's one of my favorites from when I was growing up. It's for Julia, who likes to practice with the string bean when she can. It was breakfast time, and everyone was at the table. Father was eating his egg. Mother was eating her egg. Gloria was sitting in the high chair and eating her egg too. Francis was eating bread and jam. "What a lovely egg," said Father. "If there is one thing I am fond of for breakfast, it is a soft-boiled egg." "Yes," said Mother, spooning up her egg for the baby. "It is just the thing to start the day off right." "Ah," said Gloria, and ate up her egg. Francis did not eat her egg. She sang a little song to it. She sang the song very softly. "I do not like the way you slide. I do not like your soft inside. I do not like you lots of ways, and I could do for many days without eggs." "What did you say, Francis?" asked Father. "Nothing," said Francis, spreading jam on another slice of bread. "Why do you keep eating bread and jam?" asked Father. "When you have a lovely soft-boiled egg." "One of the reasons I like bread and jam," said Francis, "is that it does not slide off your spoon in a funny way." "Well, of course," said Father, "not everyone is fond of soft-boiled eggs for breakfast. But there are other kinds of eggs. There are sunny-side up and sunny-side down eggs." "Yes," said Francis, "but sunny-side up eggs lie on the plate and look up at you in a funny way. And sunny-side down eggs just lie on their stomachs and wait." "What about scrambled eggs?" said Father. "Scrambled eggs fall off the fork and roll under the table," said Francis. "I think it is time for you to go to school now," said Mother. Francis picked up her books, her lunchbox, and skipping rope. She kissed Mother and Father goodbye and went to the school bus. While she waited for the bus, she skipped and sang, "Jam on biscuits, jam on toast. Jam is the thing I like most. Jam is sticky, jam is sweet. Jam is tasty, jam's a treat. Raspberry, strawberry, gooseberry. I'm very fond of jam." That evening for dinner, Mother cooked breaded veal cutlets and with string beans and baked potato. "Ah," said Father, "what is there handsomer on a plate and tastier to eat than breaded veal cutlet?" "It is a nice dish, isn't it?" said Mother. "Eat up the string bean, Gloria." "Oh," said Gloria, and ate it up. She had already eaten her dinner of strained beef and sweet potatoes, but she liked to practice with a string bean when she could. "Where do breaded veal cutlets come from?" asked Francis. "And why are French-cut stringless beans called string beans?" "We can talk about that another time," said Father. "Now is the time to eat our dinner." Francis looked at her plate and sang, "What do cutlets wear before they're breaded? Flannel nightgowns, cowboy boots, furry jackets, sailor suits." Then she spread jam on a slice of bread and took a bite. "She won't try anything new," said her mother to Father. She just eats bread and jam." "How do you know what you like if you won't even try anything?" asked Father. "Well," said Francis, "there are many different things to eat, and they taste many different ways. But when I have bread and jam, I know what I'm getting, and I'm always pleased." "You try new things in your school lunches," said Mother. "Today I gave you a chicken salad sandwich." "There now," said Father to Francis. "Wasn't it good?" "Well," said Francis, "I traded it to Albert." "For what?" said Father. "Bread and jam," said Francis. The next morning at breakfast, Father sat down and said, "Now I call that a pretty sight. Fresh orange juice and poached eggs on toast. That's a proper breakfast for you." "Thank you for saying so," said Mother. "Poached eggs on toast do have a cheery look, I think." Francis began to sing a poached egg song. "Poached eggs on toast, why do you shiver with such a funny little quiver?" Then she looked down and saw that she did not have a poached egg. "I have no poached egg," said Francis. "I have nothing but orange juice." "I know," said Mother. "Why is that?" said Francis. "Everybody else has a poached egg. Even Gloria has a poached egg, and she is nothing but a baby." "But you do not like eggs," said Mother, "and that is why I do not have poached one for you. Have some bread and jam if you are hungry." So Francis ate bread and jam and went to school. "That's right," said Francis, "and I had bread and jam for dinner last night." Oh, I think I skipped a page. When the bell rang for lunch, Francis sat down next to her friend Albert. "What do you have today?" said Frances. "I have cream cheese, cucumber and tomato sandwich on rye bread," said Albert, "and a pickle to go with it, and a hard-boiled egg and a little cardboard shaker of salt to go with that, and a thermos bottle of milk, a bunch of grapes and a tangerine, and a cup of custard and a spoon to eat it with. What do you have?" Frances opened her lunch. "Bread and jam," she said, "and milk." "You're lucky," said Albert. "That's just what you like. You don't have to trade now." "That's right," said Frances, "and I had bread and jam for dinner last night and for breakfast this morning." "You certainly are lucky," said Albert. "Yes," said Frances, "I am a very lucky girl, I guess. But I'll trade you if you want to." "That's all right," said Albert. "I like cream cheese with cucumbers and tomatoes on rye." Albert took 2 napkins from his lunchbox. He tucked one napkin under his chin. He spread the other one on his desk like a tablecloth. He arranged his lunch neatly on the napkin. With his spoon, he cracked the shell of the hard-boiled egg. He peeled away the shell and bit off the end of the egg. He sprinkled salt on the yolk and set the egg down again. He unscrewed his thermos bottle cup and filled it with milk. Then he was ready to eat his lunch. He took a bite of sandwich and a bite of pickle, a bite of hard-boiled egg, and a drink of milk. Then he sprinkled more salt on the egg and went around again. Albert made the sandwich, the pickle, the egg, and the milk come out even. He ate a bunch of grapes and his tangerine. Then he cleared away the crumpled up waxed paper, the eggshell, and the tangerine peel. He set the cup of custard in the middle of the napkin on his desk. He took up his spoon and ate up the custard. Then Albert folded up his napkins and put them away. He put away his cardboard salt shaker and his spoon. He screwed the cup on top of his thermos bottle. He shut his lunchbox, put it back inside his desk, and sighed. "I like to have a good lunch," said Albert. Frances ate her bread and jam and drank her milk. Then she went out to the playground and skipped rope. She did not skip as fast as she had skipped in the morning, and she sang, "Jam in the morning, jam at noon, jam, bread and jam by the light of the moon. Jam is very nice." When Frances got home from school, her mother said, "I know you like to have a little snack when you get home from school, and I have one all ready for you." "I do like snacks," said Frances, running to the kitchen. "Here it is," said Mother, "a glass of milk and some nice bread and jam for you." "Aren't you worried that maybe I will get sick of all this and all my teeth will fall out from eating so much bread and jam?" said Frances. "I don't think that will happen for quite a while," said Mother. "So eat it all up and enjoy it." Frances ate up most of her bread and jam, but she did not eat all of it. After her snack, she went outside to skip rope. Frances skipped a little more slowly than she had skipped at noon, and she sang, "Jam for snacks and jam for meals. I know how a jam jar feels, full of jam." That evening for dinner, Mother cooked spaghetti and meatballs with tomato sauce. "I'm glad to see there will be enough for second helping," said Father, "because spaghetti and meatballs is one of my favorite dishes." "Spaghetti and meatballs is a favorite with everybody," said Mother. "Try a little spaghetti, Gloria." Said Gloria, and tried the spaghetti. Frances looked down at her plate and saw that there was no spaghetti and meatballs on it. There was a slice of bread and a jar of jam. Frances began to cry. "My goodness," said Mother, "Frances is crying." "What is the matter?" asked Father. Frances looked down at her plate and sang a little sad song. She sang so softly that her mother and father could scarcely hear her. "What I am is tired of jam." "I want spaghetti and meatballs," said Frances. "May I have some, please?" "I had no idea you liked spaghetti and meatballs," said her mother. "How do you know what I like if you won't even let me try?" asked Frances, wiping her eyes. So Mother gave Frances spaghetti and meatballs, and she ate it all up. The next day, when the bell rang for lunch, Albert said, "What do you have today?" "Well," said Frances, laying a paper doily on the desk and setting any tiny vase of violets in the middle of it. "Let me see." She arranged her lunch on the doily. "I have a thermos bottle with cream of tomato soup," she said, "and a lobster salad sandwich on thin slices of white bread. I have celery, carrot sticks, and black olives, and a little cardboard shaker of salt for the celery. I have 2 plums and a tiny basket of cherries, and vanilla pudding with chocolate sprinkles, and a spoon to eat it with. "That's a good lunch," said Albert. "I think it's nice that there are all different kinds of lunches and breakfasts and dinners and snacks. I think eating is nice." "So do I," said Frances, and she made the lobster salad sandwich, the celery, the carrot sticks, and the olives come out even. The end.
Hi, my name is Bob Pease, and I'm going to read The Little Red Lighthouse and the Great Gray Bridge by Hildegard Swift and Lynn Ward. It was written in 1942. When my daughters were little, I used to read it to them like 30 years ago, and then after that, I used to read it to my grandchildren. Once upon a time, a little lighthouse was built on a sharp point of the shore by the Hudson River. It was round and fat and red. It was fat and red and jolly, and it was very, very proud. Behind it lay New York City, where the people lived. Before it sailed the boats on which the people rode. Up and down sailed the boats. On and on rolled the river. All the way from Lake Tyr in the clouds, high up in the mountains, came the Hudson River. It rolled down the mountains. It rolled and rolled and rolled. It rolled past Albany. It rolled past New York, and it went on forever looking for the sea. Now the boats in the river talked to the little red lighthouse as they passed. "Hoot, hoot, hoot. How are you?" said the big steamer with its deep, throaty whistle. "Salute," lisped the slender canoe as it slid along the shore. "Chug, chug, cheerio," called the fat black tug as it pulled on its way, pulling a load of coal on a barge. By the day, the little red lighthouse did not answer. It was quiet when the boats called. It was still. But every night, just at the fall of dark, a man came to tend the little red lighthouse. He took out his jingling keys. He unlocked the small red door on its side. He climbed its steep and winding stairs, up, up, up to the very top. He took off the thick white cap that let it sleep by day. He turned on the gas with a funny small black key. Up, up, up flowed the gas from the 6 red tanks below. Then the little red lighthouse spoke out plainly. Flash, flash, flash. 1 second on, 2 seconds off. Look out, watch me. Danger, danger, danger. Watch my rocks, keep away. Flash, flash, flash. It felt big and useful and important. What would the boats do without me, it thought. It felt very, very proud. The boats saw the light and were safe. The boats saw it and they kept to the channel. The boats were grateful to the little red lighthouse. Sometimes a fog crept up the river. Then the man came to wind up a big black clock inside the little red lighthouse. He wound and wound and wound it. The clock was joined to an iron bell outside. The bell began to ring. "Warning, warning," it said. "Flash," said the light. "Warning," said the bell. The little red lighthouse had 2 voices then. Every day it felt bigger and prouder. Why, I am the master of the river, it thought. Then one day a gang of workmen came and began to dig. They dug and they dug and they dug. By and by, great steel girders began to rise up against the sky. A big group of men were carried over the Hudson on a barge. Across the barge stood 4 great reels, and from each reel there trailed a slender silver line. All the boats in the river stopped moving. All the nearby boats turned to look. Even the river seemed to be very, very still. When the men came back, they seemed happy. The first cables are over, they called. The catwalk will be up soon. And the other men shouted, "Hurrah!" What do they mean, thought the Little Red Lighthouse. What are these things called cables that are over? Now the days and weeks went by. Every night the little lighthouse spoke plainly. Flash, flash, flash. Every day it watched the strange new gray thing beside it grow and grow. Huge towers seemed to touch the sky. Strong loops of steel swept across the river. How big it was! How wonderful! How powerful! A great gray bridge spanning the Hudson River from shore to shore. It made the Little Red Lighthouse feel very, very small. Then one night, a great beam of light flashed from the top of the nearest gray tower. Flash, turn, flash, turn. Now I am needed no longer, thought the Little Red Lighthouse. My light is so little, and this one is so big. Perhaps they will give me up. Perhaps they will tear me down. Perhaps they will forget to turn my light on. That night it stood waiting and waiting. It felt glum and anxious and queer. The night grew darker and darker. Why did the man not come? The Little Red Lighthouse could neither speak nor shine. Then in the middle of the night there came a storm. The wind moaned. The waves beat against the shore. A thick fog crept over the river and tried to clutch the boats one by one. The fat black tug was just coming back from Albany. It was caught and blinded by the fog. It looked for the Little Red Lighthouse, but it could not find it. It listened for the bell, but it could not hear it. So thick the fog was, it could not see the light flashing high up from the great gray bridge. Crash, crash, crash. The fat black tug ran upon the rocks and lay wrecked and broken. Then the great gray bridge called to the lighthouse. "Little brother, where is your light?" "Am I brother of yours, bridge?" wondered the lighthouse. "Your light was so bright that I thought mine was needed no more." "I called to the airplanes," cried the bridge. "I flashed to the ships of the air, but you are still the master of the river. Quick, let your light shine again. Each to his own place, little brother." So the Little Red Lighthouse tried to shine once more. But though it tried and tried and tried and tried, it could not turn itself on. "This is the end of me," it thought. "This is really the end. My man will not come. I cannot turn myself on. Very likely I shall never shine again." Dark and silent it stood, and it was very, very sad. But at last it heard the door open far below. At last it heard steps rushing up the stairs. Why, here was the man hurrying to tend it. "Where have you been, man? I thought you were never coming." "Oh, those boys, they stole my keys. This will never happen again," said the man. Now the Little Red Lighthouse knew that it was needed. The bridge wanted it. The man wanted it. The ships need it still. It sent a long, bright, flashing ray out into the night. 1 second on, 2 seconds off. Flash, flash, flash. "Look out, danger, watch me," it called. Soon its bell was booming out too. "Warning, warning," it cried. The Little Red Lighthouse still had work to do, and it was glad. And now, beside the great beacon of the bridge, the small beam of the lighthouse still flashes. Beside the towering gray bridge, the lighthouse still bravely stands. Though it knows now that it is little, it is still very, very proud. And every day, the people who go up Riverside Drive in New York City turn to look at it. For there they both are, the great gray bridge and the little red lighthouse. If you don't believe me, go see for yourself.
Thank you for watching Lunenburg Storytime, the books we love. If you'd like to get involved and become a reader, we'd love to have you come into our studio and read a book that you love. Our contact information is lunenburgaccess@gmail.com. So send us an email today and let us know if you'd like to become a reader. Thank you.